Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. The Motley Fool breaks down where XRP could go next, looking at recent market moves and the launch of the new XRPC spot ETF. Key points: ETF momentum changing the landscape. Analysts watching key levels for the next breakout. XRP volatility opening up new opportunities. So did the Motley Fool all of a sudden become pro XRP? When you open up the actual article, you realize they still hate XRP. The Motley Fool Stock Advisor analyst team just identified what they believe are the 10 best stocks for investors to buy now, and XRP wasn't one of them. You know, they hate XRP, but they can't stop writing articles about it, because XRP is becoming too big to ignore now. That's why you see it mentioned on the mainstream media as well. You know, wait until the real breakout begins. I'm telling you, XRP is going to be all over the mainstream media news. Ripple CEO dubs new CFTC committee Olympics crypto roster. And I mentioned this in a video yesterday, but I forgot to mention some of the big names that are included here. So you have Gemini, Coinbase, Crypto.com. But if you look a little bit deeper, you see the CEO of the DTCC, also CEO of NASDAQ, chair and CEO of CME Group. You know, this is big because this shapes the direction that everything goes in. When they bring in these heavyweights, they want to make sure they get it right the first time. They don't want to go back and make changes later. And we need this for innovation to move forward. XRP will take the #1 spot from Bitcoin within 6 years. And I totally agree with that. I don't even think it's going to take 6 years. Honestly, I think there's a very good chance it happens in 2026 once we get utility going for XRP. So since it kickstarted the crypto market in 2009, Bitcoin has remained the largest asset in the space, maintaining a large gap with others. While XRP still holds a much lower valuation than Bitcoin, XRP community figures have insisted that the altcoin has the potential to overtake the premier crypto asset. Patrick Riley, an American veteran and XRP community influencer, believes XRP could take the #1 spot within 6 years. The reason why XRP holders know XRP is coming for that #1 spot is because XRP, from day one, it was built to replace Bitcoin. Bitcoin has no utility. Most of the value in Bitcoin is fake Tether. So eventually, Tether is going to lose its peg, come crashing down, and guess what? It's taking Bitcoin with it. And XRP, with utility behind it, will take the #1 spot. And this will also lead to that happening. This is the XRP ETF tracker. We had $18.5 million in inflows yesterday. And this is daily now. You see this every single day, more and more inflows. And as that's happening, more and more XRP is leaving circulation. It's like the Shane Ellis theory, and we are going to see that play out in 2026. I'm telling you right now, if we get to the point where we see scarcity for XRP, we're taking the #1 spot in 2026. Ripple Monica Long also says XRP is our North Star. But take a listen to what she has to say about 2026.
We're rewinding the tape back to the founding of the company. Like, XRP and the ledger are our reason for being. You know, the purpose of Ripple was to be building use cases, taking the technology and applying it to solving real world problems. So we call it our North Star, like that. This is kind of what guides us in a lot of our product strategy and decision making. Things that I'm excited about on our roadmap for this year. One is payments on DEX. And of course, payments already happen on the decentralized exchange. You all know that. But with our licensed product, so this payments offering that a lot of our customers are using for stablecoin cross-border payments, we want to bring more of that flow directly onto the decentralized exchange. And like an interesting trend we've been talking about at Ripple is just the proliferation of stablecoins. Even take just US dollar as the currency, there's all these different issuers now. And I think back to the early days, talking to David Schwartz and Arthur Brito, like their vision for the DEX on XRP Ledger was, in the future, so many different assets will be tokenized, money will be tokenized, and there's going to be all these different issuers. And depending on the currency cross or the exchange, it's going to be a mess finding the liquidity. So XRP is built into the protocol as this bridge asset, and you can auto bridge really seamlessly through XRP. So we're bringing it back to the roots of how this protocol and the DEX were built. So I'm super excited about that one. Another one is payments credit. So to explain that one, we know that in the world of payments, so if you're a payment service provider, it's really common that you would have like overnight credit or short-term credit to be able to ensure the appropriate funding for that payment. That's super common, and you may, for those who maybe have been following us for a while, you may remember we had a line of credit offering back in the day. So our idea is to build on that customer need, the insight into that customer need for credit or financing for payments, and match it with holders of XRP who might be interested in putting that XRP to work and earning more yield.
Like I've been telling you this entire time, what Ripple is trying to do is allow XRP holders to become their own bank. You're going to be able to put your XRP to work for you, so you don't have to go to work anymore. You could retire yourself with your XRP holdings. And take notice, she talked about how a stable coin is needed first, but then later they're going to utilize XRP because of its on-demand liquidity. All Ripple wants to do is create more and more utility for this cryptocurrency. And that's why it remains as the North Star for Ripple. It's clear to most the controlled price manipulation of the key tokens set to play a role in the new financial system. While frustrating for early token investors, the controlled demolition needs to occur first. Imagine retail going to a bank to cash in 100 XRP at $15,000. Every one of these cryptocurrencies are still way undervalued. They are worth so much more than the prices that they're sitting at right now. And you see the list right here: XRP, XDC, XLM, Algo, IOTA, QNT, and HBAR. These are also the cryptocurrencies that can be utilized within ISO messaging. And as we continue to push forward, you're going to see these cryptocurrencies connecting to each other even more, because they're all going to be part of the new financial system. But right now, I believe every one of them is very undervalued. I think the prices on them are very suppressed prices. You see all the growth around every one of these cryptocurrencies, yet there's no price appreciation. And I think that's happening by design. Somebody is controlling these cryptocurrencies right now. They don't want you holding them because they are all the future. Remember, the next phase of crypto will be the utility phase. Take a listen to this.
That portion of the crypto market doesn't really work with the principles that we're looking to kind of support here. And what is kind of shifting is this principle of utility. Jeremy Allaire, who's Circle's CEO, the issuer of USDC, made a lot of comments about this recently, saying that the next age of crypto needs to be the age of utility, where there's real use cases that make sense to people, in their kind of day-to-day lives, things that like Jess is building at checkout.com. And I think that's where we're going to start to see mainstream adoption, is where, whether it's financial institutions saying, there's tokenized securities, or that there's, things that we can traditional products, and put them on the blockchain and make it, more efficient and less friction. And, that's from the institutional side. But from the retail side, there needs to be something else to just, trying to make a speculative play. And I think once these assets get a little bit more mature with bringing utility to market, that's where I think that you'll see a lot more kind of foundational kind of, flourishing in a way that really matters to people.
So the next phase will be the utility phase. And I think the reason we're not seeing utility really drive the price of XRP yet is because the price of XRP is way too cheap still. I think once the price rises, all of a sudden it'll start to be utilized. And as it's being utilized more and more, you don't get the pullbacks on XRP. Instead, you watch it continue upward. And that's why I believe we will see a utility run. Nobody knows how long it's going to last. Nobody knows how high the price can go. And utility doesn't stop. Once somebody starts utilizing something like this, they're not just going to say, oh, well, we were utilizing this, but now we're going to go over here and use this instead. Once they get used to it, we will see the rise of the new financial system. We will also see mass adoption, but it all still hangs in the balance, waiting for regulations first. And like I always tell you, until it does happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.